Welcome back to the Stay in True to Yourself podcast. In today's episode, we'll delve into the intriguing topic of the correlation between money and happiness. So, have you ever wondered if, more money equals more happiness? So, let's explore that today. And I have a few main points I would like to discuss about. So, the first main point is the pursuit of more. In our modern society, we're often bombarded with messages that suggest material wealth is the key to happiness. We're led to believe that acquiring more and more will bring us contentment. But is that truly the case? I read this paper recently. According to Elizabeth Dunn, a researcher at Harvard Business School, the data suggests that money is one way to buy happiness, but it's not the only way, and it's not always the best way. So I just want y'all to ponder on that and think about that. The main point of that is the pursuit of more. Is that really what we need, or do we just need to pursue more peace rather than these materialistic things? Second main point is defining enough. Finding happiness may not lie in an endless pursuit of material possessions. It's about defining what enough means to us individually and recognizing when we have reached to that point. A recent book I read by Dan Buettner, it's called The Blue Zones of Happiness, reminds us that the happiest people spend the least time alone and the most time socializing and interacting with others. This means that the people around you and the things when I say things, I don't mean like materialistic things. I mean actual living things that you are around is what gives the sense of happiness. Not these things that you can break and throw away and don't have that aspect of breath. So going back to it's finding happiness may not lie in an endless pursuit of material possessions. Next point I would like to talk about is beyond material wealth. Through my own experience, I've come to realize that people are more important than the material things we give value to. The relationships I have with others bring value to everything I have or even desire. And Richard Lyard and Andrew Clark, in their research study on income, wealth, and happiness, found that what really makes people happy is the quality of their social relationships. So it's really important to see how other people around you influence you and how you influence them, because you have to think beyond those materialistic things. They don't bring you value to your own sense of peace. Next main point I would like to talk about is embracing simple pleasures. Sometimes the most fulfilling moments can be found in the simplest of pleasures. It could be enjoying a beautiful sunset, savoring on a homemade meal, smiling at something, or relishing in the company of loved ones. And Dan Gilbert, in his TED Talk on The Surprising Science of Happiness, says, "We're able to synthesize happiness, but we think happiness is a thing to be found rather than a skill to be learned." I want y'all out there who are listening to this to think about that. Embrace those simple pleasures. Don't make things so complex, and don't worry too much, because innately, we're going to want more. But with the desire to want more, you should yearn to want more of what makes you happy, not what makes you more stressed. Next point I would like to talk about is balancing ambition and contentment. While it's important to have goals and ambitions, it's equally crucial to find peace in the present moment. This is something for myself I've had to work on a lot too. I'm always thinking about what happened and what's going to happen. I always forget about what's happening in the moment. And this has definitely affected my relationships with people. It's about striking a balance between pursuing our dreams and finding contentment with where we are at right now. For example, for me, I would say this when I'm talking to people. Sometimes I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next or what did they previously say, rather than just focusing on what they're saying and actually embracing it and understanding it, because that's more important. And that's kind of how I think it's important to balance the ambition and contentment. And I would also say Dan Gilbert also emphasizes in his TED Talk We have the capacity to manufacture happiness. It's not something that we have to find. Think about that. So, as I conclude here this episode of City Staying True to Yourself, let's remember that true happiness is not solely dependent on financial wealth. It lies in finding contentment, cultivating meaningful connections, and embracing the beauty of the present moment. Remember, as we always say on this podcast, pursue your dreams and seize the day. Peace out.